Today on the SmileTuTshow, we discuss the newest update and season to Destiny 2. What's good about it, what are my original thoughts on the first few days of play, and how good do I think this season is going to be. Also, we discuss a stalker that Amaranth has been dealing with, and is Multiverses as good as I have been letting on? All that and more today on the SmileTuTshow. Welcome to the first ever SmileTuTshow. I'm so glad you came here to the premiere, or if you're tuning in later, that's perfectly fine. I am so glad to have you here. And without any more embellishment, let's get straight into the news now, shall we? So, if you haven't heard, the newest season to Destiny 2 is all about pirates. We be chasing that booty. And while I'm sure that is very funny to many people, it is not in fact the booty of which you are considering, it is the loot of pirate treasure that we be going after, me mateys. Jokes aside, what are my general thoughts and feelings towards this new season? Well, I have only played it for a few days, and I have decided to go ahead and show you part of the launch trailer before I take such a deep dive. So I will show it to you guys right here and right now. Let's roll the tape.
Aramis has broken free. The old crews now rally under her command.
I've read about them. What is the human word?
Pirates.
The full vanguard should be rallied to deal with these outlaws.
Well, anchors away.
Now go show those pirates what happens when they crush Spiderhead.
So as you can see, there has been quite a big hype around this new pirate season, and I have been hyped about it. Number one, first thing I want to mention is lore and storyline parts to this, because I know there are a lot of people deeply invested into the lore. While I only know the baseline of it, I must say I am glad to see a reappearance of my personal favorite character, that being Spider. He is kind of like the Mafia boss-esque looking character. He's got that feel to him, and I love seeing those kinds of characters, so obviously I gravitated towards him as my favorite character, and I am glad this season that he has finally made a return. And while so far the only time I've seen him is in this trailer, he has been a prevalent part in the story through the comm device or talking through the ghost or whatever. That was something that really got me, and it hooked me into the story because of that character mainly. But other than that, though, I have to mention they even gave a good incentive for new players to join up right away. Because if you go over to the Helm, you can get some amazing weapons. Now, I don't know how good they are. To be quite frank with you, I am still semi-new to the game. But they have some pretty darn powerful weapons for early game. And so it goes without a doubt. If you haven't gotten the game, or if you haven't went to the Helm yet, you should most definitely grab that. Another thing, though, that I really want to mention that I enjoy the heck out of is the new skeleton key, I believe is the name. I don't remember exactly. But it's a little treasure key-like thing, where you do stuff to gain experience points, and as you do that, you unlock new mods for your weapons. And I thought that key progression system was just amazing. It adds more to the lore, it adds that pirate feel, and it's just overall really cool. So what do I think this season is going to go to? How good do I think it's going to be? What tips do I have? Well, obviously my tips will not matter. I am simply a dude screaming into a microphone about random gaming stuff, but I still will give my opinion. Number one, I am stoked about this entire season, to be frank. I love a lot of the loot you can get from the season pass, both free and paid version, and I am really ready to go and start grinding to get some of that stuff. What I want to see, though, is a bit more. I may not know much about this dude that he said was returning to cause the pirates. It might just be because I have never been that far into the lore, but I would like to see some explanation in-game for the people who are a bit newer, such as myself, and would like to know more about the general lore. While, yes, I could go and watch an hour-long documentary on the lore of the series, some people just ain't got time for that. I mean, to be quite frank, I am constantly working on stuff. I don't have time for that. I mean, I could play it in the background later, but like, 1 hour? I ain't got time for that. So, some general explanations would be really nice. Number 2, though, I am ready to see some of those pirate raids that they're talking about. Where you jump from spaceship to spaceship. Heck, have like a hive spaceship where you just fighting in outer space. That would be amazing. I don't know if that is how they're going to do these pirate raids, but I sure as heck hope they do it like that. They have like parkour. I suck at parkour, so I'm already going to hate saying this. They have like parkour segments where you're jumping across freaking ships like the ones that drop the enemies in game, and you went outer space, so it's like all out and spacey. You got super low gravity. It'd be cool, and something I would love to see. Do I know that's gonna happen? Obviously not. Would it be cool as heck though? Yes. And the treasures that could be in there would be something I would also want to see, as some pretty decent treasure. Their loot pool has always been pretty decent, or at least for as long as I've been playing, their loot pool has been very decent, and I have been fine with almost everything I've gotten. If I had fought a harder boss or something a bit more difficult than I'd want to, I'd get a decently powered gun. And due to all that, I don't really have a problem with their loot system, so I don't think that's going to be a problem here. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into my 5 headlines now, shall we? Before I get into the major news headlines, I have one thing to mention first. This headline is rather sad and one I don't want to make light of. A indie developer has came out and made all of his games free to play after cancer has gotten to him. Now, this is a very, very heavy situation, and I am not going to make a single joke here. But due to the fact of cancer getting to him, I have decided personally to put $5 into one of my charities for St. Jude. And I hope that this $5 will help as much as possible. I obviously am a small YouTuber and cannot make as much money as Corey Kinchin, for instance, but I want to make a difference however I can, and seeing this headline, which I will explain in a bit more detail in a minute, really touched me, and so I decided to do that, and I will stream one of his games later on this week. So I hope you guys will tune into that, and let's get on with this story now, shall we? I don't want y'all to get anything twisted here with this story, so I'm going to mention it straight up. I am not doing this for the clout, for the extra money. I'm not trying to monetize off of someone else's death. This was simply a huge headline in the news, and as a gaming news broadcaster, it is my job to talk about trending news. I will mention that it has been a huge staple of my channel to help fund development and research into curing, or at least finding a better way to fight cancer, as I have had a lot of pain regarding that sort of thing, and I want to do everything in my power to help the people find answers and ways of treating this horrific, monstrous disease. So I will go ahead and talk about this for a bit, but just know, I promise you, this has nothing to do with my own monetary gain. Last month, Rob Hale, or Squid in a Box, has died due to cancer complications, and one of his last wishes were to make his games Wave and Wave 2 free to play. And he particularly said that one of his good friends had went into his Steam account and did that for him. Now, I do want to mention that I will be streaming both of these games in honor of him sometime next week, as this is airing on Saturday. I will be doing that with a link to a St. Jude charity, so that way it is a charity stream all in honor of this amazing indie developer. I do want to do everything I can in honor and memory, and nothing has to do with me myself, honestly. I wanted to put that out there. I could get very, let's just say it could really hurt my reputation if I was to be doing this just for monetary gain, and I'm not at all. I know that people will go out and be like, oh, well, Smile's just doing this because he wants to get more viewers and more clout. Not at all. But from what I have read, his family has been dealing with it a bit harsh, and I just want to go ahead and give out my condolences to the family, and want to let you know my heart goes out to all who have been affected by this. I just wanted to give all that out there, and now let's go on to the next story, shall we? Okay, now that we've gotten out of that rather negative and serious story, let's talk about Amaranth and an issue going on with her. So, I don't know much about Amaranth herself. She is to put it lightly, she is a Twitch streamer / adult NFT star. To put it mildly, yeah, that is what she does. And come to find out, someone from Europe had decided to fly to her house and stream her every single day in a very stalkerish way. Now, I, for one, would be freaking out in that nature. Obviously, I would freak out. I am a lone kind of person. I prefer to be alone all the time. So this would make me very uncomfortable. And while I know if I was to blow up, I would have to deal with something like that, probably I will cross that bridge when I get there. But this was a dangerous privacy invasion. There were a lot of issues with this. I mean, if that dude broke into her house within the, 48 days he was watching her, and went and did something, even as small as stealing her toothbrush, that would have been scary, to say the least. Luckily, this man has been put in not really prison, because he's from, I believe, Europe, and he will be deported soon, and legal action will be taken there under European law, so we hope for the best. I want justice in this situation, not because I know or care or am a simp about Amaranth. I honestly don't know much about her, but because I want justice to be served fairly. And if you are going to go and stream some woman going out grabbing her mail, doing day-to-day things, stalking her, you deserve the legal action and all things brought against you, without a shadow of a doubt. Also in the news, the creator of Super Smash Bros., I'm going to horrifically mispronounce his name, so please forgive me, Mashiro Sakurai. If I said that right, somebody better give me a coffee or something. I'm almost positive I horrifically malformed his name. But anywho, he decided to start up a YouTube channel talking about game development. And most people may be like, oh, okay, so Super Smash Bros. Guy just threw out a game development YouTube channel. But me personally, I'm going to start watching every single one of those videos with hopefully English subtitles. Here's the reason why. Until Multiverses, which is still working out a lot of major kinks, and I can't even say until Multiverses, this game that has been made has been the only overpowered, amazing game where you can play almost any character and still have a chance to win, and still be good at the game. He has made a perfectly balanced kind of game. And I want to know his input on different game mechanics, on different gaming things. So you already know I'm watching that channel. And this was more of something I found super interesting than a huge trending news article. But seeing this is amazing. I mean, you gotta think, this man has untapped knowledge of which someone by the likes of me has never seen before in the game creating sphere. If I can figure out everything there is to know from him, based off of his videos alone, I can make some banger YouTuber games. And that would even fix a lot of the problems with the YouTube game sphere. When YouTubers make games, everyone expects them to be crappy. Heck, even I understand that, and I know I'm going to start off with some crappy games. But I want to learn how to make stuff, and that's why I'm so excited that Mashiro Sakurai has decided to come out and make a channel about game development. So, it may not... Is it the best story or the biggest news story out as of right now? No, not really. But it was something that I was super stoked to see and can't wait to watch his videos. This one right here is for all you Pokemon fans, me included. There might be a new evolution coming out. So, what really got a lot of us really peed off was the original way that evolutions came out was in Season 2, Season 4, and Season 6. This is based off the anime. And that's kind of been the roadmap we've been looking at for quite some time as of when the next evolution will come out. Well, 8 didn't have one. But now we are seeing someone in the anime catch an Eevee who is in the main cast. And that has been the lead up in every single one of the newest evolutions. And as someone who is a huge fan of Eevee, that is my number one favorite Pokemon. I have a freaking plushie of it behind me right now. I have to say, I am super stoked about this. I don't know how many more people would care to know about that storyline, or about that story in general. But to be honest, I have been waiting for months for a new one. Honestly, more than months, freaking years, I have been anticipating the next one. Been looking at fan art of every other type of evolution, just waiting for the day that one would become canon. I mean, the dragon evolution looks amazing. The art done on that one is just chef's kiss. I have been waiting to see what they do. And I cannot wait much longer. I have been... Honestly, I know the anime is meant to be for kids. So it's kind of weird to think that there's a 19-year-old sitting down watching every episode of the anime, but we don't talk about that. Thing is, though, which one is it going to be? From my semi-watch of it, I haven't watched all the way through, I have 3 major predictions of what it could be. Rock, bug, or a mix between water and grass. And there's a reason for each of those decisions. The newest season is basically around a very tropical-like area. And I have to say, actually, now that I think about it, maybe even an Alolan version of a grass or water. We don't know. But looking at it from this perspective, I have to say that tropical feel, it could be a bug type pretty easily from the feel and natural surroundings. I say rock because the general beach-like aesthetic makes me kind of think of that. And I can see it work well. And of course, I'm only using these with the environmental storytelling because of the fact that Eevee takes in from its surroundings. So I can theorize all I want. But to be honest, everyone in the Pokemon community is getting ready to see the newest evolution. And I pray to God that it is going to be either the bug or the rock type. It works well with the story. It meshes well with the atmosphere. And it would just be amazing all around to see, like, a rock type or a bug type. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't care at this point as long as we have some new evolution. But having one of those two would be just perfect. And I will probably make a video on the newest one, where I rant about how much I either love or hate the design. Because there will not be an in-between here. As stoked as I am about this, it's either going to be a big win for me, or a mad pass. So I will keep you guys updated on this story, but this is one that really, really hyped me up. Now let's go ahead and get on to the final story. This last story isn't really a major headline, but a very important announcement slash big amazing news on my end about my channel. I have gotten the Fortnite creative permissions, and now I am working on my Smile Royal map. I have published a few maps, and I have published a lobby, of which I will have, the lobby will have a bus stop area with all of the codes to all of the games I will publish. And I will have a second channel dedicated to creative tutorials on Fortnite and other Fortnite content. I will obviously not expect much growth there at first. This is a completely deviated separate channel from what I normally make. But I do know people have asked me, how did you make this kind of mechanic? And so I kind of want to do it. I think it will be a cool thing to add on to my channel. Or at least my company. But knowing what my channel is, that being gaming news, it doesn't mesh well with the way my channel works. So keep an eye out for another channel coming out based off of that. I am also considering to start up a multi-stream with Streamlabs Desktop sooner or later, where I will stream on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all that at some point in time. And this is mainly to get maximum traction. And I am also moving my Smile Shorts on all kinds of different things as well, not just TikTok. Mainly this is a business move centered around the idea of put everything in every possible area I can, so that way the maximum number of people will see the Smile content and start flocking over to my channel if it is something they enjoy. So that is the major announcement I needed to add before I went ahead to the opinion piece. I hope you did enjoy these 5 headlines, or I guess 4 headlines and minor updates. Now let's get to the opinion piece. So if you haven't seen, people on Twitter have been saying that Multiverses is a mediocre game that should not have been made and shows the problems with today's gaming world in general. And I will be mentioning a few of their arguments and things I agree and disagree with this statement on. So, number 1, their major argument is the developers are soulless and are just doing it for the money. I could understand that if it were EA or some other gaming company. Honestly, any gaming company, to be quite frank. Including this one. I could understand it if it weren't for the fact that the developers have put time into it. I mean, you watch the clean animations. You look and see how Tom and Jerry try to attack each other, but in turn end up hitting the enemy. You see references left and right, especially with the new Morty character. He has Hammerhead Morty. He has the Rick and Morty spaceship. I mean, seeing those things tell me this game has more to it. More value, more reason to follow the news and updates of this game. Other than, say, I don't know, an EA game. Because they aren't as soulless. If EA put a lot more time and effort into making the game super polished, full of references, and making it seem cool, they wouldn't have to put out those $30, $40, $50 freaking DLC packs, would they? And when they make something good, they put it behind a paywall. How many paywalls has Multiverses had? I'm gonna give it to you. Technically, only one. And that's for the first season battle pass. Now, yes, this game is brand spanking new. I get that. And you could be saying, well, they're going to go and die off later. It's not later yet. And the other thing here, multiverses, from the way I see it, is going to continue to grow whether you like it or not. Because they are doing what people want. They are doing good things in the game. And I can't say that it is a horrible game. You said that the power levels were out of whack. Yes, I can agree with you. However, how many Smash Bros-like games have that problem? How many? Every single one of them. That's one of the reasons why Cartoon Network Battle Crashers failed so hard. Why the Nickelodeon one failed so hard. But here's the difference, folks. The major difference is, those two didn't have the amount of dedication. For instance, Finn and Jake on Cartoon Network Battle Crashers was nowhere as edited with the movesets that felt real, felt amazing, felt right for the character, and kept that canon personality like Multiverses did. Or, heck, almost any other one of them I could put out there had that problem. The problem isn't the lack of power level. That is something that they are going to have to even out over time. The problem with Cartoon Network Battle Crashers, Nickelodeon Brawl Stars, etc. is the corporateness over the games. I don't know what Warner Bros. Is doing over there with this game. They seem to be giving it a lot of creative freedom and they're not pressuring to throw out. So they get time to make quality stuff. And that's why all these new Call of Duty games feel mediocre. That's why all these new games feel not as good anymore in the AAA scene. It's the same issue that people have been talking about with music and TV shows. In business, it is practice to find what works and then abuse it. Use it as much as possible. When people find the perfect way that their game can be made, they will put that on loop because that gives people exactly what they want over and over and over again. But then they realize, oh wait, now it's old to them, so now what do? Businesses work that way. That is the surface level kind of ideas for a business. It takes someone who looks under the water to see, okay, this looks kind of bad, but look at it in a few months, a few years' time. They may have something. I'm not looking at the surface level of this game right now, because it just freaking came out, people. I'm giving it the time, I'm giving it the chance, and I think it deserves the chance. They have done and shown more effort in it than Nickelodeon Brawl Stars, Cartoon Network Battle Crashers. They weren't very solid games on their own. Obviously not. But they didn't have that heart, that drive behind them. And that's what's missing in today's video game sphere. We lost that love, and I think that's why indie games are making such a huge comeback. Because it's that one little guy, one little business, one little company who has an idea and sticks to it and works on it and makes it as awesome as possible. Those people who are willing to take risks are those who are making the biggest games out there. I mean, FNAF, for instance. That was made by a guy running a dead-end career with his game making. That was his last game before he went ahead and left. Now, it has been bought out by a corporation, and I've seen complaints about it. I've seen people saying that it's deviated too far from its original thing. Now, I don't know if that's the same for everyone in the FNAF sphere, obviously, but as someone who has looked and watched from the background the FNAF franchise, I can admit that the newest game didn't work out too well. And all that goes to say, everything that I'm talking about right here in this semi-rant rolls back to one thing. All of the arguments they made. The game was too unbalanced. It was shoddy. It wasn't as strong on its own yet. All of that comes back to two major issues that you are not looking at. Number one, this game is in its infancy. It was still pretty much in an open beta. And number two, this doesn't feel like any other game company. That's why I've thrown heapings of praise on it. Why one of my videos on Multiverses got 600 views. It's because there's something different here. There's something better here than we don't see in other games. They are taking some risks. They are making the game a bit different, throwing some twists, throwing some curveballs, using their creative freedoms to make something that feels amazing. And that heart is why I am so supportive of this game. But with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Yo man Smile is over and out. Peace.